all ready.
So I'll call the July meeting of the New York State Cemetery Board to order. It is just two of the board members are here, so we have a quorum, but I'll first start out by introducing myself. Mark Patterson. I represent Walter Mosley, Secretary of State. Jill? You muted yourself?
Jill Faber, representing Attorney General Letitia James.
All right, thank you. So we have a quorum. I have no other open remarks, except to hope people want to enjoy their summer from wet to hot, and hope this keeps going. So first order of business is to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. Does anybody have any corrections, changes, or suggestions to the meetings as they were distributed? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting as distributed. All in favor? Second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved as distributed. Next up is our legislative and regulation meetings from our council.
Morning, Mark. I distributed a legislative report prior to the meeting. Does anyone have any questions?
I had none.
Hearing none, I will move on to regulations. There are no updates on regulations at this time.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of our council? All right, next up is the division report. Louis, you're there.
Hi. Yep, I'm here. Sorry.
Looking
Yep.
fine.
So, yeah, so here it's the camera means we're like squeezing in here. It's like the
You're
subway.
doing fine.
No, so staffing update, we have a new accountant. I want to welcome him. Kayvon Butler is based in our Albany office, although he lives in New York City. So he's also been spending some time in our New York City office. And it's not like we have a shortage of work in either location. So we welcome him, obviously. Our two New York City positions, I have no update to report on those yet. I hope to know by the next meeting where we stand on those. Let's see. I unfortunately I am unable to pull up the board materials and look at you guys at the same time because my computer is not working here. So give me 1 second and I will pivot to make sure I don't miss anything from the division report. Hang on, it's opening. I'll note that we do have an abandonment report for this month because it's a quarter. I've previously distributed that. I don't know if anyone had any questions on the abandonment report.
No.
I guess that would be a no. Hang on, maybe I can open it this way. Okay, we're having a go. Oh wait, what's this? Here we go. It's just sorry, it's just taking a while to upload. I wanted the agenda open to make sure I don't miss anything that I am supposed to be reporting on.
101s.
I don't think we have. I don't think we have any 101s scheduled until September. However, I will note that we have uploaded 2 new training modules to our training section of our website. One of which is very specialized. It's for cemeteries that have crematories or that are crematories, and it's a line-by-line tutorial on how to review cremation authorizations, what you should be looking for, what is problematic, what is not problematic if it's slightly incorrect, and giving overall guidance. Cindy Craig, our longtime expert in everything where funeral directing and cemetery world meet, did a voiceover to it, and she walks you through that line by line. So if you do have a crematory and you have a question, or if you had your crematory operators really ought to consider just watching the thing. It's not that long, and it gives a lot of detail as to what is or isn't okay. The other presentation, which we are looking to roll out in a live format in the fall, maybe if not before, is a presentation on cemetery basics aimed not at cemeterians like our 101 is, but at a broader public audience. Everything you've always wanted to, what the general public needs to know about cemeteries. We have some ideas for how to reach a larger audience, and we're working on that for the fall, doing live sessions, perhaps to coincide with Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. Not to make light of the whole thing, but it's a time where people are paying attention to cemeteries, so it might be a good tie-in. And that brings me to the annual report submissions. So give me a sec. I have to pivot back to that.
Yeah.
Do that. I'll have to grab the vandalism report. Actually, Alicia is not in the room, correct?
I'm in the room.
Yes.
I can't.
I'm in the room. I did
You
not
are?
give you annual report numbers. However, they are
Okay,
not much
so we don't
different than they were previous months. But they're just trickling in at this
Yeah,
point
we
in time.
only get, right, we only get a trickle of annual reports. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be working. I have to do it this way. We only get a trickle of annual reports. Do you want to do the vandalism report or do you want me to do the vandalism report? I have it open.
Whatever you'd like, Louis. Have at it.
All right, so I have the vandalism report I previously shared with the board. All of the details are in there. The one thing I'll call your attention to is that we have committed, we're actually in the red by almost $1 million in terms of what we've committed as opposed to what we've appropriated. I am not concerned about this because much of that sum is going to drift into the next fiscal year. Of course, we don't know whether there will be, I know there is talk of a special session. One cannot speculate as to how the budget might or might not change now that we already have a budget. But as far as we know, based on the resources we have now, we will be able to make all of our obligations as they go. We could not, if we had to overnight, pay everything, but we don't have to do that. So if you want more detail on the exact numbers, it's all in the report that was previously circulated.
Does anybody have any questions of Lewis in his division report?
All I had.
Again, I would just add on the abandonment report, it just looks, again, it's a fairly long list of cemeteries that are at risk. And I know that staff work hard to mitigate that, appreciate that work, and sort of central to our mission. So just to note that it's a book of business for us. Okay, so if nobody has any other questions of staff, we'll move on to the vandalism projects. We have 6, all dangerous monuments. I'll proceed. Forest Lawn, Evergreen Lawn in Erie County has an application in the amount of $36,915.88. And if we present it to the board,
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
a little louder, please, Michael.
That's
No, It's
Corey.
Corey.
Corey, sorry.
This better?
Better.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Corey Moore with the division. All right. So Evergreen Lawn applied for a hazardous monument application for funds. So the Evergreen Lawn Cemetery is part of the Forest Lawn Group. It's a small cemetery, a small rural cemetery in the town of Newstead in Erie County. They sought to repair 30 hazardous monuments. I visited the cemetery and confirmed that all 30 monuments appeared to pose a hazard. One of the most recent monuments is dated from 1979, and the cemetery stated that they did not have any contact information for the lot owners in their records for this time. They ran a legal notice once a week for 3 weeks in the Akron Bugle with no response. It is our understanding the cemetery has determined that the lot owners cannot be located. The cemetery provided repair estimates from 4 different contractors. The lowest was Western New York Cemetery Services for $36,816. One of the highest was I want to say it's J. Bonger Construction Services, and that was $165,025. All of the contractors posed to reset the 30 monuments on concrete foundations um, and provide foundations to a depth of 42 inches. Western New York Cemetery Service does provide a 20-year warranty on their work, and they were the low bid. The Forest Lawn Group is up to date on their vandalism payments and annual reports, and I recommend approval in the amount of $36,915.88.
Okay. Council, do you-
Just, two things I'll add to that. Number one is Western New York is a related party vis-a-vis Forest Lawn. We're not approving any related party transactions here. We're only approving money going to Forest Lawn. But because it's based on their estimate, I'll note that Forest Lawn does have a conflict of interest party, has related party, a whole drill for related party provisions. And they report on their compliance with that to us on a regular basis. So again, just putting that out there, there's no trend that's not really an issue that's directly before us, but in the background, it's our understanding that they have procedures in place that appear to be in compliance with the relevant law. Also, Western New York is almost always the lowest bidder on transactions in Western New York.
Okay.
Whether or not it involves a Forest Lawn entity. And I guess the other thing I was going to add is that the applicant is not Evergreen Lawn Cemetery, it's Forest Lawn is the Buffalo City Cemetery is the applicant. Evergreen Lawn is now part of Forest Lawn. And of course, subject to availability of funds.
Thank you for the reminder. Subject to availability of funds. Council, do you have anything else to add other than subject to availability of funds?
I have nothing else to add.
Okay. Jill, do you have any questions of the application?
No,
So I'll make
no.
to approve the application for Forest Lawn in Erie County in the amount of $36,915.88, subject to the availability of funds. Do I have a second? Jill seconds. All in favor? Aye.
It's all you.
Aye.
There's no Tom, it's all you.
Application is approved. We have a second application from Forest Lawn in Erie County in the amount of $36,989.12. Corey, are you presenting that one too?
I will be, yes.
Okay.
Yep, so Forest Lawn put in another application this time for the Clarence Fillmore Cemetery, which is another rural cemetery located in the town of Clarence, Erie County. They're seeking to repair another 30 hazardous monuments. I also visited this cemetery and confirmed that all 30 appeared to pose a hazard. The most recent monument in this application is dated from 1925. The cemetery stated they do not have the contact information for the lot owners in their records for this time. They also ran a legal notice once a week for 3 weeks in the Clarence B and received no response. It is our understanding that the cemetery has determined that the lot owners cannot be located. The cemetery provided repair estimates from Western New York Cemetery Services, Milano Stone Restoration, M&S Enterprises, SBZ, and Gale Stone, the lowest being Western New York Cemetery Services for $36,724. They proposed to.
All that long-winded stuff I said, sorry, Corey, all that long-winded stuff I said about Western New York applies here as well.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yep. So they're seeking to remove the monuments and place them on new foundation to a depth of 42 inches and provide a 20-year warranty for their work. Forest Lawn Group is up to date on their vandalism payments and annual reports. I recommend approval in the amount of $36,989.12.
Thank you, Corey, for a complete report. Anything else to add, Counselor?
Nothing else to add.
Okay, so I'm gonna, Jill, no questions? No questions. I'll make a
No.
motion to approve the application of Forest Lawn for Clarence Fillmore for 30 monuments in the amount of $36,918.12, subject to availability of funds. Do I have a second? Jill, second. All in
Second.
favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. The application is approved. Next up is Howland Patent in Oneida County, 77 stones in the amount of $129,000 and $129,283.17. Can that be presented to the board?
Yes, Corey Morgan. So Holland Patton came in with an application for the Holland Patton Cemetery, which is a small rural cemetery in the town of Trenton, Oneida County, for the repair of 77 hazardous monuments. I visited the cemetery and confirmed that all 77 monuments appeared to pose a hazard. The most recent monument was dated 1961, and the cemetery stated that they did not have contact information for the lot owners in their records for this time. They ran the legal notice once a week for 3 weeks in the Daily Sentinel and received no response. It is our understanding that the cemetery has determined that the lot owners cannot be located. The cemetery provided repair estimates from Northeast Cemetery Services for $129,150, and also from Humphrey Memorials for $133,737 to reset the monuments on concrete foundations. As Northeast was the low bid in this application, they will provide the foundations to a depth of 42 inches and includes a 10-year warranty on work. The Holland Patton Cemetery is up to date on vandalism payments and annual reports. I recommend approval in the amount of $129,283.17.
Thank you, Corey. Council, anything else to add?
Nothing else to add.
Okay, and Jill, no questions? Okay.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the application of Howland Patent in Oneida County for vandalism funds in the amount of $129,283.17, subject to the availability of funds. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Application is approved. Next up is Oakwood Cemetery in Troy, in Rensselaer County, for 75 monuments in the amount of $94,623.27. Who's presenting that?
That one's mine.
All right,
Good morning.
our sage investigator.
So we've got Oakwood, I'm Len Breen from the Albany Office Division of Cemeteries. We have application for Oakwood Cemetery in the city of Troy for the repair of 75 monuments. And I visited the cemetery and I did find that all 75 are indeed leaning dangerously in need of repair. The cemetery ran a legal notice for 3 weeks, had no response. And all these monuments date from the early 19th to the early 20th century. So it's likely they had no response from the notice. And the newest monument is dated from 1902. So based upon this information, it's our understanding that the lot owners cannot be found. So we have 4 estimates, 2 for the removal of the monument and the resetting and resealing of the monument after the foundation is poured, and 2 estimates for the pouring of the foundation. The lower of the 2 estimates for some Royal Memorials, their estimates are $44,700 for the removal and the resetting and the resealing of the monuments. And for the foundation, we have an estimate from Oakwood, which pours their own foundation and based on their approved service charge from our office. So the Royal Memorials, they After they reset and reseal the monuments, they offer a 15-year warranty. Oakwood Cemetery, they propose to pour the monuments at a depth of 60 inches, and they guarantee their work for 25 years. Cemetery is current with all their payments and vandalism fund and filing the annual reports. And all documents appear to be in order. It appears to be a good legitimate claim, and I recommend approval in the amount of $94,623.27.
Thank you, Lynn. Council, anything to add?
Nothing to
Bill, any questions?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the application from Oakwood Cemetery in Troy in the amount of $94,623.27, subject to availability of funds. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Application is approved. We move on to Pierpont Hill for 26 monuments. They're in St. Lawrence County in the amount of $13,789 and
56 cents.
56 cents. Little typo in there. And then bargain price per stone. Don't know why. Who's letting you doing that one too?
No, it's.
That's me. That's Mike Seelman.
Oh, Mike,
Pierpont Hill Cemetery is a small rural cemetery in the town of Pierpont, St. Lawrence County. They submitted an application for the repair of 26 monuments. I visited the cemetery and noted that all 26 appeared to be hazardous. Of those 20, and this is the reason that the price is a little bit lower, is there are only 14 foundations that had failed. The other 12 monuments were loose and needed to be resealed, but the foundations appeared to be good and level. The most recent monument is dated 1950. Cemetery does not have records for that time period, so they ran a legal notice in the Watertown Daily Times once a week for 3 weeks, and they didn't receive any response from that. So it's our determination, it's our understanding that cemetery is determined that the lot owners cannot be located. The cemetery requested estimates from 5 different contractors in the area, and they received 4 declinations to bid. And the only one that gave them a estimate was Witherby and Whalen, and that was for $13,637. That averages $525 per monument. And again, they're going to replace 14 foundations in concrete to a depth of 42 inches. And then they're going to reset all of the monuments and seal them to make them secure. The Pierpont Hill Cemetery is up to date on their vandalism payments. They had a previous allocation that they used appropriately, and division recommends approval in the amount of $13,789.56.
Thank you, Michael. Counselor?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Jill, any questions? Okay. There being no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the application of Pierpont Hill for 26 repair of 26 monuments in the amount of $13,789.56, subject to the availability of funds. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The application for Pierpont Hill is approved. We have an application from Lakeview Cemetery for 52 monuments in Seneca County in the amount of $70,004.12.
Yes, Corey Morgan. So Lakeview Cemetery is another small rural cemetery in the town of Colvert in Seneca County. They submitted an application for the repair of 52 hazardous monuments. I visited the cemetery and confirmed that all 52 monuments appeared to pose a hazard. The most recent monument was dated 2022. The cemetery was able to make contact with a few of the lot owners through either legal advertisements or through community contacts. And in one of the incidents, the family was able to make the necessary repairs without the accessing the vandalism fund to make the repair. The cemetery stated that they did not have complete contact information for the remaining lot owners for this time, so they ran a legal notice once a week for 3 weeks in the Seneca County area shopper and received no additional responses. It is our understanding that the cemetery has determined that the additional lot owners cannot be located. The cemetery provided repair estimates from Senecal Memorials in the amount of $69,841 and DC Masonry. The DC Masonry quote was only for 51 monuments, as one of the larger monuments they did not have the equipment to properly repair and restore. And that estimate from DC Masonry was for 51 monuments, and it was for $84,660. As Senecal was the low bid, they intend to replace the foundations to a depth of 42 inches, and they will warranty their work for 20 years. The Lakeview Cemetery is up to date on vandalism payments and annual reports. I recommend approval in the amount of $70,004.12.
Thank you, Corey. Counselor, anything else?
Nothing to add.
All right, any questions, Jill?
No,
I'll make a motion to approve the application of Lakeview Cemetery in Seneca County for vandalism funds in the amount of $70,004.12. Do I have a second?
second,
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
aye,
Okay, motion is approved. The application is approved for Lakeview Cemetery. I believe that completes our vandalism funds agenda. We have a couple other items on there. First is Indian Mount Cemetery in Cayuga County. It is a land sale. Who's going to present that?
Corey Moore. All right.
We've kept you
So,
busy.
a little bit, yes. So the division did receive an application from the Indian Mound Cemetery, located in the town of Moravia, Cayuga County, seeking approval to sell 23.5 acre parcel of land. In 2008, the cemetery received a donation of 29 acres, and they intend to subdivide this donated plot and retain 5 acres and sell the remaining 23.5 acres. The parcel of land to be sold is currently zoned for agricultural and residential use. It is not currently being used for burial purposes. The parcel also contains a dilapidated building, which will either require demolition or significant restoration work to bring it up to living standards. The cemetery has found buyers willing to purchase the property for slightly more than the appraised value. The appraisal, I believe, came in at $48,500, and the buyers are willing to pay $50,000. So they're getting a good deal there, I suppose. The cemetery understands its requirement to deposit the proceeds from the sale minus reasonable expenses into its permanent maintenance fund. We believe that the cemetery has an adequate amount of remaining land available to meet its burial needs well into the future, and the sale of this property will be a benefit to the cemetery. I recommend approval of the application.
So I'm just going to chime in on seeker. There's an argument that this is a type 2 action for seeker. But the cemetery did submit a part 1 short form environmental assessment form, and we have prepared a parts 2 and 3 of a short form EAF. for Mark's signature. So it makes sense. We think that under the circumstances, it's just as easy for the board to treat this as an unlisted action, approve, issue a negative declaration under seeker, authorize Mark to sign the form, and then go ahead and consider and approve the application. Rob, did I miss anything?
I don't think so, Louis. So the argument that this would be type 2 under seeker is that the parcel in question contains a residential home. The type 2 list under 617.5 C11 includes conveyances of single, 2, or 3 family residences on previously approved lots. Dovetailing off of what Louis said, that the cemetery did provide a short form EAF. And so the proposed resolution as part of the packet, which I would ask that the cemetery board take recommendations 1, 2, and 3, addressing seeker first, and then from there, go on to address 4 and 5. So if there's any questions about seeker, I can answer them. Otherwise, I would propose a resolution for the board's consideration.
Please do.
So I propose that the cemetery board resolve to issue a negative declaration under seeker because the sale of the property will have no or minimal environmental impact. Approve the draft parts 2 and 3 of the short form EAF attached to the board packet memorandum as Exhibit I, and authorize board chair Mark Pattison to sign part 3 on behalf of the board.
Any questions, Jill? Okay, we're gonna, I'll
Are there
I'll make
any
a
other-
motion.
We're just doing this, this is just the secra piece right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, no questions. No questions.
All right. So I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as read into the record by our council. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second. All in favor to approve the secret recommendations as resolution as read? Say aye. Aye.
aye.
Thank you. Seeker is approved. Now we move on to the application itself.
Yep.
All right. So if there are no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the application of Indian
I
Mountain
just have
Cemetery.
one quick,
Yes, go ahead.
I have one question, yeah. Are there any other approvals that are required that are outstanding at this point on the sale?
For the land sale, like does the cemetery require
Yeah.
any other approvals? Not to our knowledge. They didn't communicate any
Okay.
to us.
Is there anybody else
I
who
mean,
wants to try?
belt and
to-
suspenders, do we want to, Mark, belt and suspender, Mark, Rob, belt and suspenders, do we want to make it contingent on their receipt of any other required approvals?
Sure.
I don't think there are any, but
I don't know if anything.
I don't see that there's any downside to saying that.
Good question. Good suggestion.
Can I propose a resolution?
Yeah.
So propose a resolution, the cemetery board resolve that the sale of the parcel in question is for fair market value and in the best interest of the cemetery, approving the application subject to any other government approvals and conditioned on the cemetery depositing the entire sale proceeds net of $10,695 in expenses into its permanent maintenance fund.
Brilliantly done. Do I have a second for that resolution?
Second,
Also brilliantly done. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
aye.
The application for the land sale is approved. Next is an abandonment of Medway Christian Cemetery in Greene County. Louis,
Yeah, I'll start out on that one.
Glenn?
Yeah, I got it. So Medway Christian is a very small cemetery. And it's located in Route 26, in the town of New Baltimore, Greene County. So we first learned the cemetery at risk of abandonment in fall of 2024 when the sole remaining trustee contacted our office and said that she was no longer able to care for the cemetery and that she needed to abandon it to the town. So she noticed and held a special lot owners meeting on April 21st of this year, and then no other people showed up for the meeting, and so therefore she was unable to recruit new members to help with the management of the cemetery. She also reached out to the town of New Baltimore to look for help in recruiting new trustees, but to no avail as well. So despite the efforts by the trustee, it's not been possible to identify people who continue to operate the cemetery and replace her. And cemetery lacks funds to continue operating in on a maintenance-only basis for more than a year. So consequently, the division determines that the cemetery is abandoned with the meaning of Town Law 291 because it's not controlled by an existing board for the body or care, which exists no special fund or endowment to generate income sufficient to cover minimal maintenance expenses. So, yeah, this cemetery is abandoned to the town.
Town of,
New Baltimore.
well, you said that earlier, thank you. All right, council?
So the standard here is the board shall either confirm or reverse the determination or may seek additional information. I might also just suggest that we query to see if any town officials are in attendance at the meeting, which we are.
So I'll take that suggestion. Is there anyone from the cemetery or from the town of New Baltimore who'd like to address the board? Not hearing a response. Louis or Len, is there anybody you thought might be on the town?
Well, I made them aware of the meeting and gave them the option of attending, so whether or not,
Okay.
I guess they chose not to
Okay.
dial in.
And we did email the determination to the town supervisor.
We
I personally,
advised them of the opportunity for abandonment funds.
Yeah, yes, we did.
Correct. Okay, so any other questions on this matter? If not, I'll make a motion to approve or confirm the abandonment of Medway Christian Cemetery to the town of New Baltimore in Greene County. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Yay. The application, we've confirmed the abandonment of Medway Christian Cemetery. Next on our agenda is a columbarium with some objections, Ridge Road Cemetery in Monroe County.
This is Mike Seelman.
thank you. Yep.
Yeah, we do it, Louis?
Go ahead. No, you do it.
So Ridge Road Cemetery, also known as Falls Cemetery, is a small cemetery in the town of Greece, Monroe County. And they came to us looking for approval to install a 96 niche columbarium unit. It'd be their first columbarium. They went through the process and the division was prepared to recommend approval of this. However, they did receive a comment from a lot owner that had an objection to the placement, the location of the placement of this columbarium. So the division presented this to the cemetery board in April of this year with our recommendation of approval. At that time, the lot owner that had the objection was able to address the board and outline what his concerns were. And then the board asked the division to work with the lot owner and the cemetery to try to resolve the issue. So following that original meeting, Michael Katina, who's the investigator that handled this application initially, met with the board and the lot owner at the cemetery, and they discussed the issues. However, that meeting didn't resolve the issue. So following that, I met with the board of the cemetery at June 6th, and my concern was to make sure that all the board members were aware of the concerns and that they, look at the options and see what we could come up with to kind of resolve the issue. All the members were aware of the objection to this. And they all agreed that they wanted the columbarium to stay in the original location, citing that it is near the front of the cemetery, so there'd be visibility. It's near a flagpole in a veterans area. It's close to the sidewalk. It's close to the bus stop. And these are the reasons that they chose that area. We looked at the other areas. There's limited space available in this cemetery. There's only one section that they're still selling. The other two areas that were suggested are backed by the equipment building. One of the areas is actually the parking area for the superintendent. The other area is a little bit more open. However, that's the remaining area where they have graves for sale, and they want to reserve that for sale of graves. And there's also an area there that they use to stage their the dirt when they dig graves, and they allow the dirt to build up there. And then when it gets to a certain size, the pile gets to a certain size, they have someone come and take the dirt away. And so they don't want to put it there. Both of those locations are not near the front of the cemetery as the board wants. So we brought this back. The division has, one other item. At the original meeting, the lot owner brought up the rules and regulations, and the rules and regs had a statement that there shall be no vault or mausoleum built in the cemetery. And the division hadn't looked at that prior to presenting it to the board, but we've looked at that since. And a vault or mausoleum, those rules and regulations, our interpretation is those are for the lot owners and for the conduct of the lot owners. And a vault or a mausoleum is not a columbarium. So we have a member of the Ridge Road Cemetery here to answer any questions, and we also have the lot owner that had the objection here. The division at this point still recommends approval of this columbarium. And I guess I would leave it to you to hear from the related the parties.
Yeah, we'll take the lot owner first.
See, okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so my name is Chris Brancato. I'm one of the lot owners that does not want the columbarium there. And when we say lot owners, we're talking about 16 lots. We're not talking about one or two. It's a whole row of 16. It's my entire family will be there. My dad, my wife are already there, and we will be. So I was speaking for the family. The day that we did meet at the cemetery, my brother came with me. He's one of the other people that's going to be there. So I just want to address a few of the issues. One of the things is they say it's near a bus stop. That's not true. It's not near a bus stop. The closest bus stop is up on Ridge Road. So it's a moot point. I mean, that's like saying it's near a gas station. There's a gas station across the street. So the bus stop plays no role into that, whatever. It just sounds good. The other thing they talked about it was being near a public sidewalk, which is a moot point because you have the road inside of the cemetery, which gets you off of the main drag of the street, and people would have to park in there anyhow, and they would cut through the cemetery to get to the columbarium. You cannot park on the main road of Latona and get to the columbarium. You can't get to it that way. You have to park in the cemetery. In the area that I proposed, that big open area where they have open lots, There's more than enough room to put it right next to the cemetery road there. So there is no need for a sidewalk because you'll be right next to the road. And if it's only taking up 2 plots, they have more than 2 plots for sale there. That's more than enough room to put it. I think the bottom line is the cemetery wants to put it where they want to put it, and they really don't care about the lot owners. When I was at the cemetery last week, I met one of the other lot owners there, and we just got talking because there are a couple graves over, and talking to her. Her husband's buried there.
Sorry,
She
Mr.
knew
Mercado, you,
was that when they posted it in the middle of winter. Yep. Go ahead.
you broke up for a minute, but keep
So we
going.
lost you for about 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Let me ramble back then.
Rewind to
So-
the other lot owner.
Yeah, so I ran into the another lot owner there, and she knew nothing about the columbarium, which was one of the issues I brought up in the original meeting. Was that when they posted it like they were required to, it was in the middle of winter when you usually don't have people going to the cemetery. So a lot of people were not aware. It was a very, very small wood sign, the size of a piece of paper. So you're talking 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper on a stick. And people did not see that. When you drive by, you didn't see it. It was so small. And unless you're right there in a cemetery, which most people don't, not too many people visit a cemetery in January. So a lot of folks didn't know about that. So that's another one of the concerns the other day. The other thing I'd like to say is that when they, it's our phone in the hall here, just a second, somebody will answer it. The other thing I was going to say is when they had the meeting on June 6th, I'd like to know why they didn't invite me to the meeting on June 6th. So I could have spoke direct the members of the board again. Would have been nice to be included in that meeting as well. And the other thing is when I first heard about the columbarium and I said something, talked to one of the cemetery folks, they told me that that columbarium is going to be the first of many. So like I said at the other meeting, if it's going to be the first of many, then don't put it here, put it where you plan on putting the other many. It doesn't have to be in that location. If this is going to be the only one they ever have, which is not, they know they're going to put in more. So that defeats their argument that they say this is the only place, but then they say they plan on putting in more. So that's one of the things. And then if they're going to approve columbarium, then I have 16 plots. Am I eligible? I should be able to put a columbarium on my plots if I want to, correct?
If you're asking us a question, you kind of broke up.
I think I've hit pretty much a lot of the. So the question is, they're saying in the rules for the cemetery that a columbarium is not a violation of the rules. So what I'm saying is then I should be able to put a columbarium on the 16 plots I have. I have, what is there, 12 left. So of those 12 plots that are left, I should be able to put columbariums on there, correct?
So let me jump in just to address the last question. We can't answer hypothetical questions here, especially if they're just coming to us for the first time. The one thing I will say is that if a cemetery's rules and regulations, the many cemeteries have rules and regulations about what lot owners can do on their lots, and those do not govern what the cemetery can do on unsold property. So the two don't necessarily move together. I can't sit here and construe their rules right now. In the first instance is for them to propose to construe their rules, and if you or anyone else have an objection to how they're doing that, you could complain to us at that point.
Yep.
But
so, I mean, I would urge you to vote no. And I mean, anybody that wants to go out there, there is more spots to put that than where they chose. Now, if they want to wait 20 years when I'm dead, they can do it. I don't care then, but as of right now, yeah, I don't want to see it there. And I think a lot of the other lot owners, had they know about it, would not want it there either.
Thank you. Appreciate your explanation of your concerns. Is there someone from the cemetery who would like to address the board?
Yes, good morning. This is Etta English. I'm the secretary and treasurer of the cemetery. I'll address to the best of my ability some of his concerns. We did, the board met last fall, had a meeting, determined that we wanted to proceed with the state's approval to build a columbarium. We chose the space that we did for numerous reasons. There is a bus stop that is down the road. Yes, it's on the corner of Ridge Road and Latona, but it is definitely within walking distance for anybody who would like to use the bus route. There is a sidewalk, and that would obviously help people that are walking from the bus stop to the cemetery and the columbarium. We wanted also to have it there for visibility. We would have a sidewalk to the actual sidewalk. So you'd have a walkway that would be accessible for handicapped people to also come to the columbarium. And so it's also very visible from that particular area to also increase earnings down the road and keep the cemetery fiscally stable. We like that area because it's by the Veterans Memorial. It is, we've got our flag there. There's going to be a Pomeroy sign there. We will anticipate that down the road, we will probably be building at least one additional niche or columbarium. It all just depends on how this goes. And obviously, it's just something that we'll see what happens as time goes. Nobody can really discuss it, and we never said that there would be many and many of these. We followed the guidelines that the state puts forth as far as the number of signs, the size of signs, how long we had to post the signs, and we've actually left the signs up even longer. So we followed the rules that were put forth to us to ensure application was done appropriately. We understand his concerns. We've met with him, with Michael Katina to discuss it, looked at different various options, but again, we still go back to our sidewalk area in that section because we really want the visibility and saleability down the road. Excuse me. We also, to address your concern about not being invited to the second meeting in June, we were not asked to invite you, excuse me, and it was to make sure the state, my understanding of the request of the meeting was to make sure that the state was aware and had the ability to see and speak with the board members themselves. And that was my understanding of the meeting. I guess I'm really not sure what else to say unless the board has additional questions or concerns.
So I guess what I would say is when you had started out saying that's the only place we can put it, and now you just admitted yourself that there's at least one more location that you plan on putting another one, that would illustrate my point that that's not the only place it can go. And when I say many, those are the exact words of Dave. When I talk to Dave, those are his exact words, is that is the first of many. I didn't make that up. Those were the words out of his mouth. When we met that day prior to the June, we went with, Mike was out there from the cemetery board. You guys had said then that that's the only place, that's the only place, that's the only place. And now we move back a few months later. Now you're actually admitting that there is another location that is where you plan on putting the next one. And this meeting is
Mr. Brancato, I appreciate your interest. I'm not entertaining a debate here. I want to make sure you have a
Okay.
fair opportunity to
Okay.
state your objections and to have the cemetery board state their justifications.
Okay.
So again, I'm not saying you can't, I'm not telling you to stop talking. I'm just telling you that I'm not looking for, back and forth debate that has no.
No, I
Go ahead.
understand.
If you feel like you've fully been able to express your points of view, I will then, and if the cemetery feels like they've been able to express their justifications, then I would turn to the board. It's just the two of us, but Jill, do you have any questions or?
I see a hand up on the, from somebody else on the WebEx. I don't know whether that's related to this or that's intentional.
Yeah, this
I
is
know.
David Richardson. I'm also on
Sorry,
the
thank you. Go ahead,
cemetery board. Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is David Richardson. I'm on the cemetery board for Falls Cemetery. Two other points to just share with the group. One, the columbarium is near the primary entrance to the cemetery. So as Etta pointed out, the visibility is key for our visitors and for prospective niche owners as well. The second thing is the columbarium will be actually placed perpendicular to Latona Road. So it'll be east-west versus parallel to Latona Road, meaning all graves will still be viewable from Latona Road, and graves and tombstones will not be completely blocked. Whereas if the columbarium was parallel, you would be looking at a wall and graves would not be visible. But this columbarium is actually going to be east-west. So it's only about 3 feet wide. So graves, as you're still driving by, members and family members can still pay their respects to loved ones and still see their graves. I just think it was important to point those two things out. Thank you.
Thank you. Jill, do you have any questions or clarification?
Yeah, I just have one question. I think it might have been discussed at the last meeting where the lot owners, brought their concerns before the board, but I just wanted to make sure I'm recalling correctly. This isn't an issue of physical impediment to accessing existing graves. This is more of a discussion or a set of concerns about the potential view of graves from different vantage points. Is that correct?
Yes.
So,
Go ahead, sir.
yeah, so I was going to say correct. So in that original meeting when I came, essentially when my dad passed and we went to go get lots, they had lots available in the back of the cemetery, the side of the cemetery. It was quite a few years ago. So they were available all over the cemetery. And the reason why we chose by the road, and at the time, which is Dave's father was the caretaker at the time, and I talked to him, and it was basically established that nothing could be built in front of it. It is just plots. There's only graves. There can be no mausoleums. Nothing could be built there but graves. And I purposely chose to go back 2 rows because you don't want to be the front row in case it gets hit by a car. But it was enough so it would be visible from the road. That's the reason for it. And the reason why the cemetery wants to put the columbarium there, it's not about the sidewalk. It's not about the bus stop. The bus stop, I mean, that sounds good, but the reality is they want it there because it's visible. They want it to be so that anybody drives by, they see this big thing and see, stuff's available. But they would see it in the back of the cemetery. I mean, it's not, you don't have to have a billboard to sell them. I mean, that's, but that's the reason why I bought those 16 lots, is because they would be visible, and that detracts from it. And the letter that's actually off the website from the New York State Department of Cemeteries, where it outlines that, it even says right in that letter that the proposed location may obstruct the view of monuments from Latona Road, which is true. That's what it'll do. That's why.
Yeah, that was my question. The concern is that from a particular vantage point, there may be some obstruction of
Yes.
the plots that your family owns, but there's no physical impediment to you
No,
accessing.
I'll drive
the
over the
plots
lawn.
or-
Yeah,
okay.
I don't, yeah.
All
that's-
the functions that you would need are maintained, even if the columbarium
Yes,
is where they're proposing to put it.
it's essentially the view. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
And like I
Okay.
said earlier, if they want to do it, 20 years from now when I'm dead, okay. But that's done. Because my view will
Okay,
be different
thank
than
you.
I'll be looking up.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Yep.
On all fronts.
I don't know if you have any other questions, Jill.
No, I don't, other than to summarize what I think the cemetery folks said, which is, it sounds like there was a back and forth where other parts of the cemetery were considered, and for various reasons, in the best interest, it sounds like, of the cemetery, they chose to land where they landed.
Okay. Can I ask one?
Questions?
Can I just ask one more question? I sent in a satellite photo of the cemetery. Do the people voting have a picture of that?
That in front of me.
I submitted that. Do you have that or no?
I don't have it in front of me.
I believe that was in the
I
original.
don't remember ever seeing it. But Mike,
Okay.
go ahead.
I believe that was in the original application where you could see
I
the.
believe it was
entire
in the-
cemetery.
I think we've seen it. I think it's part of the record.
No, it's what I submitted after the last meeting. I was told that I could submit stuff, so I emailed it in. It's a satellite photo of the cemetery, and that illustrates my point dramatically of the available space and where they plan on putting it. So that and I would like the people that are going to be voting to actually see that illustration. And if they don't have it, if we can table it till they can get that.
Well, my view here is that our role as a cemetery board, as the New York Cemetery Board, is to make sure that the cemetery board has followed the necessary procedures. We are really not here. I mean, they are the people that are in charge of the governance of the cemetery and what is in their view, the lot owners and the cemetery's long-term best interest. I think your concerns are legitimate. I don't think they're specious or spurious, but I think that the issue is whether or not the cemetery board has done its due diligence and has gone through a process to make a decision, and they are the governing body of the cemetery. So I see no reason for us not to approve the application. Again, it's my point of view, and I don't know, Jill, if you have anything to add, but otherwise I would just put it to a vote.
No, I agree. In terms of other potential locations that the aerial view might show, I don't think that would be necessary to inform my determination as a board member. I don't think that's relevant to the factors that I would consider.
So I'm going to make
The only thing I'll add to all this is that we do not have an application here for another columbarium. We know nothing about where that might be. We obviously are not making a recommendation on an application we haven't seen. So all that's before the board right now is this columbarium. The fact that they may in the future come in, we're expressing no opinion on something we haven't seen.
Right, nor does whatever decision we make today have any bearing on what would be decided in the future if another application came before the board.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else? All right, so I've made a motion to approve the application for the application to build a columbarium in the Ridge Road Cemetery as proposed. Is there anything else I should say, Rob? Do I have a second?
Second,
And I say that with full acknowledgement, this is not satisfactory to the lot owner. It's very important to us that your concerns were considered fully. I think they were. And I'm sorry that this has not gone in the way that you think it should. So all in favor?
Aye.
Application is approved. Thank you all for participating in that discussion. Second, last on our agenda is Cedar Hill Cemetery, a columbarium nunc-pro-tunc.
Can you hear me? Am I unmuted?
You're
unmuted.
Wonderful. Good morning, everybody. Carrie McGovern for the Division of Cemeteries. Cedar Hill Cemetery in the town of Newburgh, New York, has applied for New York State Cemetery Board approval nunc-pro-tunc of installation of a prefabricated columbarium structure consisting of 72 niches. The total cost of this project was $24,388, which includes $2,500 for crane rental and actual installation, and was paid for out of the cemetery's general fund, which had a balance of $1,300,689 as of December 31st, 2023. No state or local permits were required for this project. These niches were originally planned as part of a previous application approved by the New York State Cemetery Board in 2014, and the foundation pad for this structure was installed at that time. This newer structure was installed in 2021, but the cemetery didn't realize a new and separate application was required at that time, believing the original 2014 approval included this one, this later addition, but it did not. When the cemetery realized additional approval was required, it submitted this application for approval nunc-pro-tunc. This prefabricated structure was designed and installed by Matthews International and Everlasting Granite Memorial Company. It's granite, hexagonal, has 6 levels, and provides 72 niches. The average cost of each niche is $1,620, and total projected revenue is $116,640. The structure is located near the already existing columbarium unit in the cemetery's Meadowview Cremation Garden section. The cemetery posted signs in the area at the time of the original columbarium application in 2014, but it did not post again for this unit. However, the unit is situated within a cremation section and was installed on an already existing foundation slab, and no comments were received in 2014 when they did post signage. The cemetery appears to be in compliance with all state requirements, appears to be up to date with vandalism payments and annual reports, has a conflict of interest policy in place, and could easily afford this project at the time and again now, actually. The cemetery has consistent demand for cremation niches, and this additional unit helps meet that need. I recommend approval nunc-pro-tunc of this application.
Thank you, Carrie. Counselor?
Just to clarify, we concluded that they reasonably thought this was covered, even though it wasn't. And so we're not recommending any type of penalty whatsoever, not even taking their funds and restricting it in their own funds.
It's a straight up approval of the application. All right. So, any other questions, Jill?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve. Sorry,
Rob might want to say something.
go ahead.
Mark already asked.
I
Said no. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that, sorry.
I'm making a motion to approve the application of Cedar Hill Cemetery for the installation of a columbarium nunc-pro-tunc. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The application is approved. That concludes our business for the day. Our next cemetery board meeting is scheduled for August 12th at 10:30 in this location. If it changes, we'll let you know.
Hey, Mark, there's a very slight chance, I will have a conflict with August 12th. I will know soon. I will know by Monday. If I do, any other day that week will work for me.
We'll have to.
I'll confirm that works for all the board members as well, but for now, let's leave it as it is.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
we also always ask the public to, or give the public an opportunity to speak to the board on matters that are before the board or other matters that pertain to our business. Is there anyone online that wishes to address the board?